Today I'm super excited to guide you through a somewhat unique tutorial on creating a professional and effective website using Squarespace. Unlike many of the other tutorials out there, we're going to start from scratch with a blank template and build a site that includes SEO strategy. So not only will your site be custom, but it will be set up for conversion too. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Catherine Forbes, founder of Designing the Row. And I'm a Squarespace expert and Squarespace authorized trainer, and I've worked with hundreds of clients to design their Squarespace websites. So Squarespace actually has a library of pre-made templates, and I even have a series of tutorials that go through customizing some of those individual templates. But as a website designer, I prefer to start from a blank slate every time. Honestly, I think templates make things more confusing and more frustrating because you're trying to fit your ideas and your content into like a pre-made box. And those boxes are just Squarespace's way of showing you their design features. They aren't strategic or optimized in any way. So in this video, I will walk you through each step of my own process and we'll build out your own box that looks professional, clean, simple, on brand, and mobile friendly, SEO friendly, all to help you achieve your business and website goals. So if you're ready, I'm going to share my screen and we will get right to it. Okay, I have two ways for you to get started with your blank template. Option one, you can come to my website, designingtherow.com/Squarespace. And if you sign up for my Squarespace discount code, it'll also offer to set you up a 6-month free trial, and I'll set you up with a blank template to show you exactly what I'm doing today. Or option two, if you are not patient enough to wait for that for a day or so, come over here to squarespace.com and get started, create your own account. Once you do that, come to account.squarespace.com. This is the quickest way I know how to set up a blank template these days. Click this Create Website button in the top right. Click Blank Template, then start with this design, and you will be ready to go. So the first thing it's going to ask us to do is just put in your site name. I will type my name in here, click Continue, and then I'm just going to close out of the rest of these steps. Close out of that. And here you are ready with your blank template. I will give you kind of a quick rundown of the back end of Squarespace, but I really just want to go ahead and dive in and show you how to create your site. So over here on the left, you should get pretty familiar with this left sidebar. I'm going to move my face actually so you can see it all. There we go. So you will spend a lot of time, especially with me in this video today, in this website tab in pages and styles. But you should also know that if you really want to build out your website to do a lot for you and your business, you can sell products and services, you can invoice clients, you can have a membership portal on your website, you can accept donations, you can have people schedule and pay to schedule you on your website. All of that can be done over here on the left sidebar. Finance, this is where you're going to take care of all the finances for these things. Marketing includes a couple things. We'll get into that later. Contacts, if people sign up for your email list or buy your products and services, you can have your contacts list here. And analytics is pretty self-explanatory. I will point out, we'll start actually down here, this little settings gear at the bottom of the sidebar. I use this a lot. So go ahead and click on that. Come into domains and email. Click into domains. And when you sign up for a Squarespace trial, you get this randomly generated URL here. So buttercup squid whatever .squarespace.com. Let's go ahead and change that. Change mine to Catherine YouTube tutorial. Hit save, confirm. And there we go. You can see that's reflected up here in the URL in the browser now. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I always like to do is add in brand colors and fonts and get that situated. And then I will add in the content and then we will style the content. So go with my process here. I've done this over 200 times. There is a method to the madness. Let's go for it. Let's click into this site styles little paintbrush in the top right. And you can see here we've got fonts, colors, buttons, forms, and miscellaneous. If you already have fonts and colors for your brand, that's great. If you don't, know that I do have a font video and a colors video, and I can walk you through those processes. But for now, let's go ahead and go into fonts. And if I click into headings and then family, you can see that these two fonts up here are the fonts that are active on the website right now. If I click on Browse All Fonts, it gives me a search option up at the top, and then it allows me to just scroll and scroll through all of the all the options that they offer here. I will go ahead and select one for me to change things up. Go back to headings. Let's go into the paragraph fonts. Let's say we want to keep Arial. Let's change the weight. You can change it so you can see home changed to bold. You can change that. You can make things uppercase, lowercase. You can change the size of all of the fonts. So you can get really in the details here, but for the sake of time, I will keep going. Now let's go over to colors. Again, if you already have a color palette, this will be great. If not, I have another video for that. I will show you this blog post on my blog for fonts. I have a whole font pairing menu for you, so if you need help picking fonts and putting them together, I've pulled all of the Squarespace defaults for you and put them in a little PDF for you to scroll through. And then for colors, there's another video on that as well. But basically what you want to do is take one of the pictures that you're going to use at the top of your website and pull colors from it. So that way the images and the colors on your website are all very cohesive. So I've gone ahead and picked a picture for this tutorial that I'm going to show you and put together a color palette. So I'm on color.adobe.com. Again, there's a whole tutorial for this, but I will, let's see, come into colors. I'm going to edit my palette. I think what I'm going to do is copy and paste these in here. Just copying in the hex codes. If you happen to have like an RGB color code or an HSL color code, you can change that there to paste in your color codes. Okay, so we have fonts, we have colors. You can see that it's already taken my colors and put them into color themes. We will use these and customize these later. But again, remember, we're putting in our styling, we're putting in our content, and then we will go through and make things look pretty. Okay. Buttons, I won't go through this now, but if you want to change like the shape, the outline of your buttons, you can do that in here as well. For now, let's call this good. Let's hit save and then exit just to make sure everything sinks in. And now let's get into adding our content. And adding content is more than just like a picture here and some text here. This video tutorial is really meant to help you not only create a website homepage, but also make it SEO friendly. And to do that, we have to start with our site title. So when we first got this template, I just put in my name, but you actually, for your title, you want to have 50 to 60 characters. So if I come over, I've got a character counter tab already. If I type in my name, you could see that's only 16 characters. So that's not really enough content or context to let Squarespace tell the search engines what the website is about. So I've come up with like a main keyword phrase that I'm going to use for this site, and that is Squarespace blank template tutorial. And you can see when I add that to my name, we are now at 54 characters. So that hits the 50 to 60 mark perfectly. So I'm going to copy this, come back to my site. We'll go into edit mode. We're going to edit the site header, and then we're going to edit the site title. So click that little pencil button here, and we're going to replace my name with this whole long situation here. Now, obviously, you don't want that to be like the logo or in the header of your website. That is pretty long and obnoxious, but what that's going to do is it's going to live up here in like the browser tab. And also it will be that's what the search engines will be able to read about your site. So we are going to come back in here, click the little edit icon, and I'm going to just drag and drop in my Designing the Row logo. So now we have the best of both worlds. We have the SEO site title text loaded in there for the search engines to read, and then we have the logo for design purposes. We'll scale that up a little bit. I'll do the same on mobile in a little bit. Okay, so site title, check. If you want to kind of edit the layout of what this header is looking like so far, you can click Edit Design. You can change the layout just by clicking through these options here. I'm going to go with this one today. And you can change the height if you want to take out some of the extra spacing. We can add in a drop shadow, all sorts of things. Color, we can work on that in a minute. For now, we're just getting the stuff in there. So I'm going to hit save, and then let's do add elements. And I'm going to turn on the social links, and let's also turn on the button just to show you a few things. If you plan on adding a store, you are going to want to turn on that cart right there. So social links, click on those, click the pencil icon. You're going to want to delete these because these are Squarespace's links, and click add social link and type in your own URLs to your socials. And for this button here, if we click on it, click on the pencil button, you can add your own URL or your own call to action there. We will link that in a minute. Okay, I'm going to hit save and then exit. Let's come over while we're working on the header and the navigation. Let's click into pages. Now everybody's site is going to be a little bit different. That's why I like to start with a blank template so you can make it exactly what you need. But I'm going to add a couple pages just to give us some more to work with here. Everybody's likely going to have an about page and a contact page. So we'll do that for now. And I'm just going to click and drag to reorder these. So now you can see we've got home, about, contact pages. Our logo and site title is set. We've got our social icons. Now let's link this get in touch button. Back into edit mode, click that button, click the pencil icon, attach link. Now you can see I can connect that. If I move my face, I can connect that to the contact page. And we are set with our menu. I'm going to save and exit just as I go to make sure things are saving. Okay, the next thing we're going to do to make your site SEO friendly is on the back end. Let's come back over actually to this other page that I have open here. I will link it in the description so you can get there easier. It's seobility.net. And if I scroll down here, you can see this description section. I've already got it typed out to save us some time, but I want to show you this, that you need to create a SEO description for your site. This is what's going to show up if somebody Googles you and you show up in search results. This is going to be the description that comes up with your website. So you want to make sure it's the appropriate length. You want to make sure it includes your brand name, your main keyword, and if you can, a call to action. And you want to make sure it's in the appropriate length. So if you see, I'll keep typing and the green bar will, there it goes, turn red. So you want to type out a description that fits and stays in that green section there. So that means you have a good length description. We're going to copy that, come back to our website. We're going to come back to this main menu here, and I'm going to go into this little settings gear here, and then into marketing, and then into SEO appearance. And I'm going to paste this SEO site description here. You can see it's telling me that I have more characters that are allowed, but like I said, just because they're allowed doesn't mean that it is optimized and that is a good length. We don't want it to get cut off. We want it to be just the right length. You can see the preview of how everything is looking here. We've got your site title and your SEO site description. When you're happy with that, you can hit save and then exit. And now here we are. We're actually on the contact page. So I'm going to click into pages and make sure we're on the home page there. If you really want to go above and beyond, so your SEO site description will show up for the home page for sure, and then it will show up for all the other pages, unless if you come into the settings gear of your individual pages, click on SEO, you can actually write it says optional, you can write an SEO description for each individual page, other than the home page, if you would like to really go above and beyond with your SEO. That is where you can do that. Just make sure that you are still using this tool. You still want it to be the appropriate length. Okay, a little bonus tip for you there. So back to our homepage, let's start adding in some sections and adding in our content. And again, remember, we're going to add in the content first, and then we will go back and style it. So it's not going to look beautiful right off the bat. We're going to get everything in there because the way we style it is going to depend on what content we have in there. So you don't want to like try to get your first section perfect and then add a next one. Get all of your content in there and then let it all influence how you're going to style it. Another little SEO tidbit for you here as we start creating your homepage content and putting it in here. A good page should have at least 700 words. So we're going to build out a structure for your homepage that will allow you to really fill out the text, because what we need to happen is for Google and other search engines to be able to read your site and know what it's about so that they can serve it up in searches. I always say that Google can't read your mind. They're not just going to magically know what you want to rank for. You have to use words and you have to use text copy in order to communicate that not only to people that are on your site, but to the search engines. So that's kind of the method behind the madness of the sections and the layouts that I'm about to show you. You can kind of take and choose what works for you and your brand, but know that the whole purpose of this homepage layout is to be able to get you up to 700 or more words. So with that, let's go into edit mode on our homepage. We're going to click add section, and you can see there's all sorts of templates, more templates here for you to choose from. I'm going to use mostly some blank sections. We'll start with a blank section. And this section is what we call the hero section at the very top of your website. I'm going to click edit section and come to background. And what we want to do, another SEO element for you here, whenever you add in a picture, you want to make sure that the picture has a title. You don't want it to be like IMG 7890, because just like when Google searches your pages, Google does the same with your images. And if your images are just titled image, then it's not going to rank for what you want to rank for and be found in search. So what I've done is I have named my main hero image the same as what I called my site title. So you could see here, I've got Squarespace blank template tutorial with the little hyphens between each word. And that is going to be, good SEO practice there. You can change the overlay opacity depending on how much of that picture you want to show through. Again, don't think too much about this right now. We'll come back and work on the styling of it later. The next section we want to add, I'm going to add a blank section again. I'm going to click add block, add text. This is going to be our header section. And another SEO element for you here is your header 1. So you can see when I click into the text, I have options for header 1, 2, 3, 4, and paragraph 1, 2, and 3. These are not just for sizing and design purposes. These are really important hierarchy to explain to the search engines what your website is about. Each page should only have one header 1, and it should be your main keyword or what the page title is. So we're not going to just write home. We're going to go back with that, what did I call it? Squarespace blank template tutorial. We're going to make that header 1. I will go ahead and center that. And if you would like to add a tagline or a short description here, go for it. I usually make that paragraph 1. We'll center that. I'm also going to come in to edit the section and take some of that extra blank space from the top and the bottom. And there we go. Okay, the next section we're going to add, we'll do another blank section here. This will be a little about section, so this will be great for multiple reasons. One, it'll be a paragraph of text to help you increase that word count, and we're also going to link it to the about page, which is another good SEO tidbit for you. When you link to pages throughout your website, on your website, it helps Google understand the structure of your website. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. I'm going to add an image block, and we can size that. I'm just guessing for the moment. We'll add another block, pick text. I'm just going to click and drag and pull that over and size it to this half of the screen. For the sake of time, I'm going to use the Squarespace AI. Let's write a paragraph about okay. And it's going to spit out a paragraph here for me. If you do this, of course, you're going to want to read it and proof it and make sure it sounds the way you want. But for now, I'm going to do this. Let's say this is going to be heading 2, and we can leave that the way it is. To add in an image, I'm going to click that image block, click the little pencil icon. Let's drag and drop in an image. If I can find one quickly. Again, you're going to want this one to be named appropriately, the file name. Mine here is already Catherine, or contact Catherine Forbes. We can do the image alt text down here as well. Let's go ahead and change this from fit to fill so that it takes up the whole space that I've set for it. If you want to put a shape on it, you can do that. Change the shape over here. I think I'm going to stick with the fill option. Maybe we'll pull it over to give it a little space there. Okay, save as we go here. Our next section, this time let's come down to images. We're going to add an image gallery here. You can choose from any of these if you'd like. I'm just going to click this top right one and we'll change it to be the way I want. I'm going to come into edit section, and here we can change the gallery type. I'm just going to do a simple grid, full bleed so it stretches across the screen, no spacing, and then I'm going to click out of that, come into edit gallery. Normally I would just select all of these, delete all 6, and then drop in my own images, but for the sake of time today, I'm going to delete these 2 and hit close. But of course you're going to want to add in your own images here. That makes sense. We'll hit save and we'll continue on to our next section. Our next section here, I'm going to come to, let's do services. There's a lot of options here that can get us the same way, but let's come into this option here. And I'm going to select edit content on this section. I'm going to turn off the title and turn off the button for this section. And then I'm going to come into design. I know I said we'd do design later, but let's come in here and set the basics the way I like. I like to turn on the cards so that each little content block, whatever you want to call it, has a background. Size and space, I like to change the vertical padding to medium and the space between items to small. Okay. If we come back, you can see content. This is where you can drop in your own pictures and text. Again, you're going to want to delete these and add in your own pictures with your title names appropriately set for your file. And then, like I said a minute ago, you want to connect and link to your pages throughout your website, which I forgot and didn't show you in the about section, so we'll do that right now as well. But let's say we've already kind of featured our about page at the top, so let's do this as our, let's say we're going to have services. I'll write a little bit about services here. I'm going to come back to elements, turn on the button. Nope, not that button, this button. There we go. Come back to content, and we can change this to view services. I haven't set up a services page, so we'll just leave that for now. We can change this to contact, write your description here, get in touch, attach the link to the contact page, and maybe this last one can be YouTube, and you can link out to your YouTube channel or whatever you want to feature here. So we will go back, and then I'm going to go back up here like I told you I was going to do, and we're going to type in read more. I do Control Command space bar to get the emojis, add a little arrow, and then to hyperlink this, we're going to select our text. I like to do Command K as a shortcut, or you can click this little link icon here in the bar, and we're going to link that to your About page. Okay, so we have a link on our home page to our About page. This will have a link to the services page, contact page, and then a social media page, which is also great for SEO. Okay, so we're making some good progress here. The page is coming together. Like I said, it doesn't look beautiful yet. We're getting there. The next section we're going to do is the testimonial section. So add section. You can come down here to testimonials and pick your favorite layout if you'd like. I'm going to go with this one. And this section is actually the same functionality as this section here. It's just really all how you lay it out. If I come into edit content, just like before, we have the same options here to adjust the content. This is where you add in your quotes. And design, this time it's just selected as a slideshow. I just want to make the font a little smaller, so I'm going to change that, and then we can keep everything else for now. Move my face back, and we are almost there at the bottom of what I've got planned for your homepage. Now we're going to add another section. This time we're going to add a newsletter section. I'm going to do blank section. Depending on if you already have an email marketing platform set up that you use, you can do this in a variety of different ways, but I'm going to click add block and then select newsletter. If I click this pencil icon and come over to storage, you can see if you don't do anything, it will collect emails on the back of your Squarespace website for you. Or if you come into other storage options, you can see there's an easy way to connect MailChimp. Google Drive is just going to collect it in a spreadsheet, which is great, but really not much help when it comes to sending emails. And Zapier could be helpful if you want to push emails to different platforms. Or what I personally do for designing the row is I build out my forms in Kit, and then I get embed code and put it in my website. If you want to go that route, what you want to do is do add block and then select code. And then this code block, you can edit the code block. You're going to want to delete the hello world and paste your embed code here, and that will allow you to have your email sign-up form embedded directly on your page. I'm going to delete that for now, and we'll run with this one. We can resize it. I'm going to click into the pencil icon to edit, change the form name. You can change the text. And I personally like to turn on the name field so that I can personalize emails when I send them. Design, you can stack the fields, you can left align, center, add a background, all sorts of things. I recommend working with that later. Okay, let's save. And now let's add your site footer. So hover over this site footer and add section. If you want to, these are easy ways to get your footer started. We can go ahead and do this top simple one here. You can change your site title. Your social links, if you've already connected them up top, will reflect the same ones down here for you. And then you can change your email, of course. Okay, exit. We now have a home page of content that is ready for us to style. What we're going to do, come back into edit mode. You can see over here there's the desktop and the mobile view. The mobile view has that little blue dot on it because that means we've added something to the page, but we haven't styled it over in mobile. So let's go to mobile. We'll go into edit mode here. And let's just make sure all of our content is set up correctly. Maybe make the picture a little bit bigger. But otherwise, everything should look pretty simple because we haven't styled it. We've just added in the basic content. And I think that looks the way we need it to look. So we'll hit save. The one thing I might want to edit, let's come edit site header, click on our logo, and make that bigger on mobile. You can also change the layout specifically for mobile. So just because your logo's in the center on desktop, it doesn't have to be the same on mobile. So maybe we'll go with that option here. Drop shadow, sure. And let's save. So now your mobile is situated just the way your desktop is, and now we can, in my opinion, do the fun part, the styling part. So if I come back into edit mode, of course we need to start off by adjusting this top menu here so that we can actually see and read what is in it. So I'm going to click edit the header and then edit design. And we're going to want to come into color. And now we've got three options here. Adaptive obviously isn't going to work, but the picture is a little too busy. Gradient, it might be an option, but not, I don't think what I want to go with this time. I'm going to go with solid. We'll just go ahead and keep the white. And I think I might change the height to be even slimmer here. I don't want to take up too much real estate with just blank space up at the top. And we will call that good. Hit save. And now here you can see it's taken away some of the view of this image because it covered it up with that white bar at the top. So you can either click and drag on this blue arrow here to reveal more of your image, or come over to edit section and adjust the height here with the small, medium, and large. My recommendation would just be maybe not make it large because you do want people to see that there's something underneath the image for them to keep scrolling. So maybe let's do custom and do maybe a split between what medium and large might look like. And go there. Okay, so my other option for you here would be to take this text instead of having a separate section for it. Here's kind of an alternate option for you. Let's add a block. And we will paste that text here. And then let's edit the section and come to background. And now this is where the opacity could come in handy. So if we want the picture there, but we want the text on top of it, you can do this. And then you can click through your color palette and see which of these options that you might like best. Let's go with this dark one option here. And what I'm going to do, show you something else here. If I click this little heart button on this section, it will save the section. So if I want to add it back later, I can do that. But for now, I'm going to remove it. So we've still got our text. It's just in a different layout here. So that gives you two options for the hero of your homepage. Okay, let's keep going. And I will come over here to mobile view. And that's looking pretty good. Okay. I think this section can stay as it is. The way that I like to organize my colors and make sure things look professional and not too like DIY or too colorful really, is to alternate my background colors between the white color and the light color in my color palette. So since I have a white header up here for my main menu, I might actually edit this section to be light. And I'm actually going to come into my color palette and I'm going to edit that to be just a little bit lighter. There we go. And close. And we will go down here. The pictures break it up, and now we've got white here with the gray. I love when there's like the white cards. So let's see what that might look like for us. And then we can keep this, let's see, keep this white or make this gray or tan, whatever that is. Keep this white, and then the site footer, I always like to make one of the darker colors. And there is our homepage, the basic coloring of it. Hit exit, and let's come into full screen mode here and get a quick scroll. You can see how much it's already changed just by selecting the color schemes for each section. And when I do the light and the white alternating, I like to pick one pop of color. Normally I'd probably put it behind these quotes, but this time I decided to go with these 3 cards here so I could have the white card background. But that is just personal preference. But honestly, the white and the light is really how you keep it looking professional. Give it one pop of color and try not to be too crazy with it. And then the other thing to keep it professional and consistent looking is to make sure that all of your buttons are the same color. You don't want them to be like black here and then brown here and then white in the next section. Make sure all your buttons are the same color. That'll really help the design flow. Now this is where you get to go in and add your own personal touch to the design. I'll show you a few of the design features that I like to use to kind of spruce things up a little bit. If we come into edit mode here, I can come, let's try this section. If I do edit section, add a divider, you can see it automatically applies the wave to the bottom of the section. If you click on this, you can have a variety of different shapes here. A lot of times I just use this straight line to have like just a little border of a color, an accent color there. I think these are pretty cool. I'm going to go with this, maybe the straight line or the curve here to kind of mimic my logo. And then back, and you can change if you want it to be a dash or a line, and then you can change the color of it if you'd like. That's one element that I like to use. I already showed you how if you want to make this into a shape, so if I wanted to make it a circle to match my logo, we could do that. It'll show up. There it goes. And we've got your images here. Your cards, we've already added the card element here. If you want, a lot of times what I like to do, click edit section, background. I'm going to select an image from my library, but likely you would upload a different and a new one. I'm going to select the same image I have at the top just to show you what it does. You can put an image in the background of any of these sections and then change the opacity. So this can help give your design texture. Down here, if I go edit section, background, and then art, this is another one I like to do, but kind of keep it subtle. If I change these colors, let's do a custom color, come back to maybe that darker little bit. You can see there's now a gradient on this background, and it actually moves around, which is kind of cool. And then subscribe now. Maybe we want to come back to that design like I showed you earlier and put a border or a background behind it. Oops, let's change that color. If we do this, then we need to change our text colors too. I'll show you how to do that. Let's go with this kind of brown goldish color. And I'm going to come to site styles. and colors. Now over here, just like we did with fonts earlier, you can see the color themes that are active on this page. If you hover over this section, you can see this is the lightest one. And then if you click on the element that you want to change, you can see it brings up the colors for that. So let's change the background, the title, description, and the button. So remember I said you want to keep the buttons the same, but now the background is the color of the buttons that we're using. So I'm just going to reverse the button colors. So we'll make the background of the button the white and the text color the brown. And then the footnote can be this color. Honestly, maybe that would be better. And that will save that. Save. Maybe you would want to put a background texture behind this. Let's do browse stock images. Let's do a tan texture and see what we get. And these are free to use, which is great. I don't really know what these are, but let's go with this one. So add image, and that's loaded, and now we can change the opacity here. Just give us a little texture. And then hit save. Let's come check out our mobile view now that we've made some changes. This looks pretty good. And that is our mobile view. I'm going to hit save, exit, and now you have a home page styled. You're working on the design, giving it some textures, some background graphics, making it all pop, making sure everything is on brand and consistent. Now the next thing you might want to do, let's come back to home and our sidebar, come into this little settings gear in the bottom, and we'll click site availability up at the top and do password protected. What you want to do is set a password for yourself and hit save. This way you can actually go on your actual phone and see what it looks like on mobile. Sometimes just because you've checked it out in this mobile view here doesn't mean it's going to look exactly the same over here. So I always set it here and then go check it here and compare my screens and make adjustments if needed. So that would be my next recommendation for you. And then of course you can share with friends and family the same way for them to preview your website before you set it live. Make sure you test all of your links. So we added the read more link, test that, make sure it goes to the about page, which is correct. It's still empty though. Test your buttons, make sure these are going to the places that they need to go to. Test this, make sure you can scroll through your quotes. Sign up for your email list and test that out, make sure that's working, and make sure what happens after the sign up happens is the way you want it to be. If I come into edit mode and edit this specifically, if I scroll down to the bottom of content and come to post submit, you can see right now it's just set up to say thank you. But if you want to add a more detailed message here or actually redirect people to another page, you can do that. So test everything on your site, test the links, test the functionality. And I'm not going to go through and show you how to create the about page and the contact page. I think you have all of the know-how to do those now that you've created this whole home page. So create the rest of your pages as you wish. And when you are ready to go live, what you need to do is upgrade your free trial account to a paid Squarespace account. And that's easy to do by just clicking this blue subscribe button at the bottom of your site. It will take you right to the pricing plans. You can see they have this business plan is the most popular, and I can confirm that that is what I'm on. That's what the majority of my clients are on. You can select to pay monthly or annually. If I've set up your account, you will see this. You will get 20% off, or you can use my code. Even if you have created your own, you can sign up for my code and enter a code to get 20% off. Once you walk through all of this, you can then connect your domain name. If you come into settings again and domains, right back where we started, you can use a domain I own or get a new domain if you don't have one yet. Once you do that, come to website, site availability, and you'll want to switch it to public. That way you don't publish your website with your domain name and then have it password protected. You'll want to come turn on the public option here. And that is how I recommend you go from blank template to custom SEO friendly homepage and website. I hope this has been helpful. This is the process that I've done hundreds of times for clients, so I can attest to it. I know it works. Hopefully this has helped you watch me doing it, help you be able to do it yourself. So leave me comments below. Let me know your biggest takeaways, whether it's something design-wise or SEO-wise. I'd love to hear what your biggest takeaways were from this tutorial, and share your websites. I can't wait to see what you've created.